Started the recording.
Okay.
Cool. So it looks like we'll be going to 9:30,
Yeah.
right? All right, cool.
Okay.
Um, so Maddie, if you want to like kind of dictate the first questions, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Do we start with the persuasion questions?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it says number one, what is a unique interest that nobody can change your mind on no matter what facts they present to you? Example, Kobe Bryant is the best basketball player ever. Or Metallica is the best music group ever. Um, a unique interest that nobody can change my mind about. That's a hard one, actually. I
that's a
probably
super
should
tough question.
written down some notes. If someone else wants to start, I can try and think of mine.
I could go. Mine's super basic, but I already talked about it in my last speech. But I personally think that the Beatles are the best band to have existed, even if you don't like them or not, because they have significantly changed the whole music industry itself. They created all these new genres and they just paved the way for even new artists. And yeah, even if you don't like their songs, there's definitely um they've definitely, like I said, influenced other artists, and their songs have been sampled by many others. And I feel like everyone's at least heard one song by them. But yeah, and they're still relevant till today. I will say that. Like, I generally think they are. But yeah, that's what I put for mine. I don't think anyone could change my mind about that.
Now you have evidence on that one.
Yeah, it's like they are in history. Like yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna go with I'll kind of go with the whole basketball thing. I've played basketball for a long time. LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. Um, if you know anything about it, in recent days, like LeBron has surpassed Michael Jordan in basically everything, like points, rebounds, assists, basically everything, rings, the whole deal. So it's kind of indisputable. So yeah, you're not changing my mind on that.
That's very interesting because like everyone always just sees like when they think of basketball, they think of like Michael Jordan, also LeBron, but I didn't know that, so that's very interesting to know.
Yeah, now he's on top.
Yeah. And they both had the Space Jam movies, so that's funny.
yeah. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good.
but the original was so much better. I couldn't
Yeah.
stand the new one.
I haven't seen the new one, so I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Yeah.
like whatever.
Anyway, Matt.
Maddie,
I would
did you
say
get one?
me. I would say something that I'm pretty set in my ways about is no one could ever convince me that heavy metal is like fun to listen to. I can't
Oh yeah.
listen to heavy metal. It's like my downfall. Someone puts that on, I'm like, are you what?
What do you classify as heavy metal though?
Anything that involves just like if the singers are just screaming in my
Hmm.
ears, I absolutely cannot do it. Like I do like some metal, but if it's like if there's any sort of like lyrics that is just screaming at the top of your lungs, I actually despise it. I actually cannot listen to it. Like someone puts it on, I'm just gonna be mad at you.
And
Like
you can't even understand them because they're just screeching. And then it's so high pitched in your ear, especially if you're like by the speaker listening to it in your headphones. It's just like, like
yeah, no,
that's
it's bad. I can
Toxic.
do like metal if it doesn't have lyrics, but if the singer is just screaming, I no. That's where I tap out.
yeah.
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 Like when I work out a lot and I listen to metal a fair amount, but like I don't like hearing people screaming, you know? So
Mhm.
it's usually just like guitar riffs that are really crazy, but
That's respectable.
that can also like hurt, I don't know. So it's I don't know.
Well, and I mean, I don't really know what you consider metal. Like, I listen to like Limp Bizkits when I lift and like Metallica when I lift and stuff, but it just
Yeah.
depends on the song.
Yeah, if it's like actual singing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Metallica is, I love that band. Such a good band.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
people think they're just screaming, but they're not.
No, oh, no, no, no. There's like a difference between, like you said, like Metallica and then just like different ones where it's just screeching. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Well, this
So,
Okay,
well, then
next
bring
one.
us.
Got
Yeah.
you. Okay, number two. Do you consider yourself a verbal, straightforward communicator or a non-verbal body language persuasive person? And explain yes, no, and why. I would say I can start this one. I would say that it's definitely a very healthy mix of both. I feel like I don't realize it, but I communicate with my body a lot and like people around me, like I don't really have a poker face and people around me definitely know what I'm thinking when they talk and like my mom like calls me out for it. She's like, by the way, like everyone knows what you're thinking right now because of your face. But I also love to talk and I literally will talk your ear off if you give me the opportunity. So I feel like I definitely communicate both using both pretty healthy like 50-50, I'd say. I don't know. What about you guys?
I would also say I'm in the middle. I think if a conversation needs to be happen, then I will make it, even if it's an uncomfortable conversation that I'm kind of avoiding. Definitely it will take a little bit longer to get into it, but 100% I agree with you. I do not have a poker face. If I'm irritated or disgusted or anything, my face will say it before I say it, and then I guess that goes into the conversation because people will be like, "Oh, like what's wrong?" and stuff. I'm like, "No, nothing." They're like, "No, like we can tell." And yeah, just definitely like I've been told too. I'm like, you have like a very strong energy. Like even though if you don't speak, you could tell like that you are just really upset or something. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
I'm kind of like, I think I'm more on like the straightforward communicator side. I don't really show like whether I'm like upset or super happy, but I think a lot of that is because I worked at a restaurant for a while and like people basically just like yell at you all day, you know?
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't know, you don't want to show them when you're too happy and you also don't want to show them that you're upset. You have to kind of like play them because they're trying to get a reaction out of you, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I became very like straightforward. I don't
You
know.
gained a poker face.
Yeah, kind of just like yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Working in a restaurant definitely, yeah, I was a waitress for a lot and I definitely get that side of it too.
Crazy. It was just like I went from like I played basketball in high school and I got picked up to go play in college and
Oh, nice.
I went out to play, got super sick. I got COVID within like a month. Had to come back, so I ended up at CC. And I went from being a high schooler to a restaurant worker so fast. It was so bad. You
Yeah.
know, it was like literally changing like, person kind of.
It
Hmm.
definitely does change how you interact with people, like socializing and stuff. I will say that and agree because I work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
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 That's crazy.
What do you do at the restaurant? What's your like role?
I'm a server here.
Oh,
So in September, it'll be 3 years that I've been here.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Where
just
are you at?
I work at a retirement center actually, in Montecito. So it is very,
That's sick.
that's
yeah, it's nice.
awesome. That was
So
one
I
of my
get the,
favorite
yeah,
jobs.
yeah, I get the same customers every day, but it's definitely different because, there's new ones and they have family members and yeah. So it's fun. It's fun.
That's
But
Oh,
nice.
definitely has changed my perspective on how if I go to like restaurants and all of that and stuff and how I socialize and all of that.
Yeah.
yeah, I only stayed for a couple months, but that was my first job too, was my first job was like working as a server at a retirement home and I loved it. I wish I could have stayed, but they mandated it was right before COVID and then once COVID started, they said that nobody could stay on unless they were fully vaccinated and I have a heart condition, so my doctor was like you don't want the vaccine till it's like completely approved with everything. So I couldn't get it. So I was like fired, let go. It was like a
Yeah.
mutual like I'm not gonna get the vaccine. Well, you can't work here type thing, but I
Yeah.
loved it and like seeing like all the old people and like you see the same people every day and like forming the connections with them
Yeah.
and
You see them as grandparents. Was it in Santa Barbara, the retirement home, or?
no, mine was in Oregon. I
Oh,
just
okay.
moved to California. But I don't even live in Santa Barbara. I live in Fort Bragg, but I
Oh,
literally
okay.
just moved here. But yeah,
I'm born
but
in Portland.
great. What?
I'm born in Portland.
Oh, shoot, that was awesome. Yeah, I lived in Bend, which is like it's like
Yeah, yeah, I have family in Bend.
yeah.
That's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, my family still lives up there. I literally moved 2 weeks ago. So it's like I'm going back up there this weekend. It's just like, damn.
Yeah, that's sick though.
Yeah. Yeah, but I loved it. I totally get where you're at. Okay.
Unlike you guys, I didn't work in a retirement home. I worked at the inn in Ojai. It's called the Ojai Valley Inn, and I basically worked with like any celebrity that you could think of.
Yeah.
Went there. Like it was pretty crazy. Um, so that's another thing. You had to be like this all the time because
Yeah, and you
they
guys
didn't
shouldn't
want
be too
you.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want you messing around in front of people, you know? So
Yeah.
it'd be like Jennifer Aniston walking by you, and you kind of just have to be
You're like, oh, I don't, you're just a customer. Yeah.
hi, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely am not the person for that job. Oh, I
No.
could not do that exposure.
I'm
Oh,
like, can
Yeah,
you sign it,
some
your
people are
tick, like
freaks.
your receipt, please?
Nah, they'd get so mad at you, you'd have to use like alias names and
Yeah.
yeah, we were calling like Chris Pratt like Mr. Smith, you know?
Oh, Mrs. That's funny.
Like, you know, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anyhow, think we
that's
can.
that's so tough. That's not something I would be able to do,
It
but
was not for the weak-hearted.
No, I
They were
bet it
like,
wasn't.
but it paid
definitely.
well.
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, question number three. Do you consider yourself easily persuaded by the public, family, and friends? Um, and I'm gonna say definitely yes, and it's a flaw. It is a flaw, and I do need to work on it because I love to be that person that's like, yeah, don't care what anyone thinks. But at the end of the day, like, I actually do care what other people think, and it bothers me every single day. Like, I wish I could be, I want to learn the skill of not, oh, I feel like I can't say words on here because I'm like,
I think
I
you
think you
of
can.
can
not
cuss. Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
a fuck what
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
thinks about me, but I just cannot, and I'm really bad at it. And like my dad is one of the most skilled people. Like I'll be like, Dad, this happened. He's like, okay. He's like, if someone doesn't like me, then like that's literally their problem. And he's like, why do you care what anyone else thinks? And I'm like, I don't, but I do.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
like since he's older, it's like he's gotten like through ages and all of that that he generally does not care because I think when you do get older, your circle might get smaller and it's like at the end of the day, like as long as, my family and all of that cares about me, I don't care about anybody else. And yeah.
Mhm.
But I wrote that down too. I heavily, unfortunately, I care about what my family thinks and all of that. So I used to be like, unfortunately, just like hiding stuff because I didn't know like if they would approve of certain things. And yeah, like it's just scary because I really do care what my family and friends think of me. But if it's just a random person, I don't care. I'm like, oh, like, your opinion doesn't matter to me because I don't know you and you don't know me personally. But yeah, like when someone knows me on a personal level, then I'm like, oh, like I do care what you think about what I do and associate with.
I
Yeah.
feel the same as you guys. I feel like I care, but I also don't care, you know? It's like if someone says something, I don't try to mess with them back. I'm just like, all right. That's all right, you know?
Yeah.
Think that. I feel like you kind of have to be that way, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you drive yourself crazy. I saw you freaking out on the other end, Maddie. You were like,
No, I do. It's so bad. Yeah, it's actually bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you like lose yourself like trying to become this person that you want people to like, and it's just like it's mentally draining.
And
Yeah.
you'll get like super self-conscious, you know?
Yes, because you're like constantly like nitpicking at yourself, like, should I do this? Should I do that? And but yeah, like even though I do care, I'm still gonna do it at the end of the day. Like, like
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I feel like it definitely like for me personally, I go through these periods of like, oh my God, I'm so over analyzing like everything that I say, every behavior that I make, everything that I post on Instagram. And then
yeah,
like I'll go through a week period where I'm like, wow, like, you know what? My social media is not for other people. It's for me to express myself and how I feel, and I can post and share what I want to. And I shouldn't have to worry about, oh, is this cringy to post? Is this not cringy to post? And then I'll post it and I'll be on that high. And then like a week later, I'm like, Maddie, Someone needs to put a leash because
What did you
were
post?
you
Yeah.
thinking? Like what
You
like
like looked at it too long.
yeah, yeah, when you like go back and look at a picture too long,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah."
Or like if it didn't get the traction that you were like wanting and stuff, you're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
can't even.
I'm trying not to let the like number of likes get to me, but I'm like,
Yeah. That's why you just have to press the hide likes button.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you take it away.
Yeah.
Like
I
some like
don't even. I
scrolling.
try not even posting. It's like, ugh.
Mhm. Like
I like rarely post, but it's like, yeah. When I do, then it's like cute little like family stuff, but yeah.
I definitely use my TikTok a lot more
Yeah.
than my Instagram. I'm really bad about posting on Instagram, but TikTok, I'm like I thrive. I thrive. I tend to express my personality on TikTok a lot more, I feel.
Like the community
That's
is more open on TikTok
Mm.
about like just little silly little posts, but yeah.
Yeah, like literally the last one that I posted was like just God, I don't even remember. Like I posted the stupidest shit, but like the last thing that I posted was like going through the In-N-Out drive-through with my boyfriend and like partying because we're getting in and out. Like it's
Yeah.
dumb. Like why am I posting?
It's fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Now I think we're going on
Damn, now we're.
video topics.
Yeah, it looks like we're on to. Damn, there are a ton of questions. All
Yeah.
right,
Someone
well,
else want to
Yeah.
lead now?
yeah, I
Yeah.
can read these too if you want. This one says, "Do you agree or disagree with the video one perspective? Yes or no? Explanation why."
Which one was video
I
one?
can start it off. I think I agree with it. I think y'all watched it.
Yeah.
They were just like, or the guy was talking about like how the school system hasn't changed and how they're, keeping the same like ideas and like philosophies set in place.
Yeah, like sit
Which
and be quiet. Like
yeah, and it kind of teaches people to become like complacent with that like worker lifestyle.
Mhm.
Mm.
Um, do I agree with it? I think so, but I also think that nowadays there have been significant steps to push kids into, just doing what they want to do. When I was in high school, like I could do anything, any club, any route, whatever. So I feel like maybe like people our age like probably had a little better than people in the past.
Yeah, I think also like I agree with him is that they're just teaching like old curriculums and all of that. And he does mention at the end how there are some things like Khan Academy, he brings that up how they do introduce these other websites that help teach newer material. But like
Hmm.
if you look at the textbooks and stuff, like they're a little outdated. And I agreed with him too that like how you brought up, it's just teaching us how to be compliant to work like a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And he does mention other countries and all of that about their school systems compared to ours. And like I just had to agree that other places do a little bit better with teaching. But I feel like also with ours, since they leave a lot of stuff out that they don't want to teach us.
Hmm.
Like TikTok, I feel like I learned more stuff on TikTok than I had learned in school. And how they're also banning certain stuff now that like our generations got taught in school. I think that's a little concerning as well. I also think it's concerning. I know they stopped it a few years ago that they're not teaching kids cursive anymore, where I feel like everyone needs to know cursive. Because how are you
Yeah.
gonna write your signature and all of that? Like I think everyone needs to learn that. But
Yeah, my school didn't teach cursive. And like I definitely agree with the TikTok thing. Like I feel like school definitely now sets us up to work, like you said, Josh, work the like 9 to 5. Because I feel like with my schedule now, I work 9 to 4, and it's like I feel like it's the normal school hours. Well, okay, I work at a preschool, so that doesn't help. But like I'm a teacher, so it doesn't help. But like I definitely feel like it sets us up to work at 9 to 5. But I also feel like we could be taught so much more stuff. Like I wish that my school would have had like financial classes and like how to manage your finances and like stuff about like your credit and like how to build credit and the fact that your credit score really does matter. Because like I'm 20 years old and I just got my first credit card. Like, like I wish that they would have taught us that stuff better, but I do feel like they set us up to like be working members of society schedule
Yeah.
wise.
Fortunately, our high school here in Santa Barbara did have a finance class, which did teach me a lot, which was cool. And then we had to take a government class for senior year and then economics, which was also very helpful. But
Hmm.
yeah.
What are your majors?
I am majoring in criminal justice right now, and then also looking into sociology.
Cool.
I'm pre-nursing, but I'm probably gonna end up switching to elementary education.
My
There you
sister
go.
did that.
Yeah.
She started in nursing, and then now she just graduated with her becoming a little elementary teacher. It's so cute.
Yeah, I flip-flop between wanting to do the pediatric ICU and teaching kindergarten, and right now I teach preschool, so it's definitely like I'm starting to be like, okay, maybe I should get my elementary education instead, like
Yeah.
because
I
they're
Yeah.
feel
so
like
cute.
being in pediatrics ICU would be heartbreaking. I
Yeah,
don't think I could do that.
and I do think about that, like I don't know if I can come home, like if I'm teaching kindergarten, at least all the kids are gonna stay alive.
Yeah, and you could see them thrive, and then you're just seeing them at their lowest in the ICU.
Yeah,
Mm.
and also like
Bad.
growing up, um, I kind of like grew up in the hospital because I've had three open heart surgeries, so I kind of like grew up around that stuff. So I feel like being in a hospital might bring up some of that like medical
Yeah,
and like I don't know, could be great to be like, oh, like look, I have the scar, like I've been through it, or it could be like traumatizing. So
yeah, like
I
picturing
might,
yourself in that bed.
yeah, like I might be switching. We'll see.
Hey, you
Yeah.
also went to preschool, you know?
Right. Right. Oh
Like
yeah.
that too.
I'm like working in a preschool is so like it's nostalgic because like oh my God, I was handing out corn today for lunch and I like smelled the corn and it smelled like when I would get served corn at lunch at my preschool. I was like, wait, guys, don't do this to me.
Yeah.
Might just be nostalgic for the first year though, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Then it might not be so nostalgic. Um,
Be like sad, like it takes away the nostalgia, but I don't know.
yeah,
And what are you
becomes
studying,
the norm.
Yeah, what
Joshua?
are you studying?
Yeah, I'm business econ, but I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly. I'm transferring and it's gonna be something, finance or something of the sorts. Maybe a math minor too. So, yeah. So if you need help with calculus, I'm here.
I'm taking my fifth math class right now.
Oh my God.
Cool.
Yeah.
The last math class I took was like Algebra 1. I don't do math. I don't.
Yeah, no, it's rough.
Well, that's
And
my
So
then,
this also says, did video one represent your K through 12 or college experience? I think we also touched on that in our responses right there.
yeah. Yeah.
Julie, do you want to dictate the next two?
Okay. So the next one is, do you
Wait,
agree or
wait, can I
dis
pause you real quick, Julie?
Yes,
Do we have
yes.
to write these down or do we just have to submit the video?
We
Just
just
the
have to
video.
submit the video.
Okay, never mind then. Continue.
Okay. Do you agree or disagree with video two perspective? Yes or no, explanation why. So I when I watched the video, I didn't really get much from it. I know he was trying to like bring everyone together and show that like people all have different hardships and all of that, and like you're not aware of it. So I guess I could agree with that, but a lot of the questions were like he was trying to show people's privilege and all of that. So I don't know. Like it was a big mix of students that he did it with, but I don't know how I feel about it. What I did think though, which I remember hearing that audio a lot on TikTok during COVID from the video. Like people would
Yeah.
do the stepping forward. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of in the middle because, he was trying to show everyone comes from different backgrounds, but I don't know.
It's like a good message, but
Yeah.
like the more you repeat stuff like that and the more you like force it, I mean, a lot of it should be talked about, but the more you push it down everyone's throat, like, hey, like this is why you aren't succeeding, Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you can't place that like
Yeah.
that roof on people, especially like minority groups. Like just by
Yeah.
like putting that out in the world in the air, you shouldn't do that.
I feel like the video, like, because he started off that they were going to do a race, and I don't know if it was a teacher in his classroom. And then I feel like as a student, I would have kind of been like blindsided and felt really vulnerable that, like, I don't know if it was just rehearsed before, but I personally was
Yeah,
like, whoa. Because if you look at the video, it's all the minorities in the back of it. And like, he does say, like, just because where you stand in the race right now doesn't mean it's like your fault. Like, none of it's your fault, but it's kind of like, I don't know.
definitely a good message, but like,
Yeah, good message, but I think it was probably not done the best. Again, I don't know if they were aware of what they were doing or not, but if they weren't, then I would have been like, well, if I personally was them, a little blindsided,
Mhm.
vulnerable, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it's definitely true that, people do have privilege and that you do get a head start in life by having those certain things. But I also think that like especially for us and like to have people continue to watch the video, if you're taking a younger person in this generation who maybe didn't grow up having both parents or didn't grow up with certain things and they're watching the video, I feel like they already will have something set in their head that they're at a disadvantage in life, and that
Yeah.
kind of gives the wrong message because yes, like having those certain privileges does put you forward in life, but I don't think that like it's smart to put that in kids' heads that just because they didn't have both parents or they didn't have this stable sense of home that they're automatically at a disadvantage. And like it's definitely true that they are, but I just don't think that it's good to put that in their heads like, hey, you're gonna be at the back of the line already because your parents got divorced. Like
Yeah.
it
kids
could
Yeah.
have
that
been
didn't
a
really realize that they're at the back of the line now realize, and when you have that stigma in your brain that they're gonna be self-conscious, like, oh, well, I'm not as good as her because her parents are still married.
Yeah. And that also, you bring that up remind me of the first video. The first video literally starts with a man holding the goldfish, and he's like, if you keep a goldfish in like one spot and you tell it like it's just gonna stay in that environment, and like it's a good connection that I thought how you literally just said to how if you give that stigma to them that they're gonna put themselves in that tank of just feeling that way.
Yeah.
But
And that's why I feel like fake it till you make it is such a powerful thing because like if you sit here and tell yourself like you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself like, wow, I look really good like in the mirror. Eventually, if you repeat that to yourself, you gaslighting is real, guys. Like you
yeah,
will gaslight yourself, you will be confident. But if someone is repeatedly telling you that you're at a disadvantage and that you're gonna fail, it's like I feel like it's like before a test. Like if you're about to run a marathon and your mom's like, God, like you're so slow compared to like what I've seen other people run. You're like, no, mom, I'm fast. Like, don't worry. She's like, no, you're pretty slow. You're gonna get to the race and be like, wait, am I slow? Am I
yeah, you're gonna, yeah.
actually slow? Like maybe I am slow. And I feel like it's good to get that message out there, especially to the kids that have privilege, because um as someone who grew up probably at like the top tier of like having a lot of privilege,
Yeah.
I feel like it does help you realize like, oh wow, like I'm really lucky. But also for kids that aren't as privileged, like, you don't want to like tear them down and make them like wake up and think, wow, like I'm not going to be successful because these are how the cards were dealt.
Yeah.
Like
the
it's just
the
hard.
video the video definitely could have been like, hey, take a step forward if you share this in common with each other, you know?
Yeah, not like you
Not
don't
like,
this.
hey, like divide each other real quick.
Yeah.
And
But
it wasn't like take one step, it was take two steps every time. So
yeah, it
these
was
kids were
pretty
being like
wild.
getting further and further away. And then how they were racing for like $100. And then like that wasn't really the actual race that he was doing, but it was just kind of like, I don't know.
That showed nothing about who they were, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it just showed that privileged people are gonna get the $100 quicker than so yeah. But the second question does ask you personally, where would you start in the race in life? I got caught off on the first question because my parents are not married. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, oh, like when I saw the second one and I replayed it, I was like, oh, I'm cut off in the front. But yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot, maybe I should. I wish there was like a list because I don't want to like play the video, but I can't remember. I didn't like follow along. I really should have.
I think the second question was like if you have a father figure in the home, and then I don't know what the third one was, but yeah, I got cut off on the first one.
Oh yeah, and there was
No,
like one where it was like you never had to like help put food on the table. I
Yeah.
grew up incredibly fortunate. I have lots of people in my life who didn't, and I'm very, very lucky. My parents are the only people on both sides of my entire extended family that are still married, and like um yeah, I never had to deal with any sort of like financial struggles or anything. I grew up very fortunate. I'm very aware and
Yeah.
very grateful that I grew up that way. I feel like I definitely grew up spoiled, but I'm very like appreciative of the way I grew up, and I'm very lucky to have grown up that way. And it's just some of that stuff's like really eye-opening to
I'm the same way. I like grew up in a pretty good family, but I don't know. It's like again, the video's kind of saying like, oh, just because he grew up in a better family that he has like a higher likelihood of success. Because I think if you take someone at the bottom, you know, in quotes, and run them up against me in something that, we're just as competent at, like it doesn't matter where you're starting.
Yeah, and there's so many people that have grown up so much less at a like disadvantage than me and are so much more successful. Like I did a whole year of college and I completely failed. Like I didn't pass. I passed one class and I took a whole year and I dropped out and now I do community college online. And like I'm passing, but like just I didn't succeed. And like I know so many people like my both of my parents, they were literally, they grew up dirt poor. My mom, would go to the food bank with my grandma and they were on food stamps. And now my parents both worked their way up. They were both, using food stamps and they both grew up dirt poor. And now they have, three houses and we're so financially off. And like I have friends that grew up in such less fortunate situations and they're off earning all A's in college, and I'm the one who flunked out the second semester. And like it's just like I don't think that the cards you're dealt equals success, because
Yeah.
if it did, then I would still be in university and I would be a thriving doctor who graduated high school early.
Yeah.
Like it really doesn't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't
My TED
matter.
Talk.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So,
if you were to persuade your friend slash family member or loved one to watch one video, which would you choose? Explain why with an in-depth answer.
I
By
would
the way,
probably,
there are still like
there's still questions. Yeah.
four questions, so we could probably just do like a minute or two on each.
Are we still good on the recording though?
Yeah, it's still recording. I mean, I don't think he'll care if it's because I don't know if we should make a second video for like two questions and 5 minutes worth. So I mean, we could just
Just try to ram it.
yeah.
I'd probably go with video one because video two, I already strongly opinionated myself on how I feel about it, but I would want to see if my family members and all that, even like the older, like mom and all of that, to see how she feels about the school system compared to hers, and if it's like the same stuff. And if she also agrees with what we said in the video, how it's just pitting us up to work a 9 to 5 job. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd choose video too. I think I'd show it to one of the homies who, started in like a less off position and let them laugh at it. Because I think that's what would happen. They'd just be like,
They wouldn't take it serious.
yeah, they just mind my words, whoever watches this, but they just be like, fuck off. Well, like, what are you talking about, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Sorry guys, I spaced out. I was thinking about I can definitely just, if we do go over the time, I can definitely just start another video and then put them together instead of
Yeah, it's super easy.
um anyways, I this is a hard question because I feel like it would just depend on who I was showing it to, but I'd probably show it to like if it was to my friends, I'd probably show them video too because I feel like they would take all the seriousness out of it and they'd just be like, "All right, like let's see who's winning the race." And like they would just, play like Never Have I Ever with your fingers, like put your finger down if
What's that one test? The Rice something test? I can't remember
Oh,
the
Oh,
the
the
full name.
rice
rice
purity?
purity test.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd start running that. Jeez, I haven't done that in a while.
I don't mean either.
I don't really want to. It's been
Oh,
2 years of
yeah.
this 2 years of
Um,
this species. Yeah.
okay.
What is your biggest takeaway from this class so far? Geez, for me, it's just that I've been able to like find groups of people like you two and like talk really easily.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I feel like it would definitely be easier in person.
Yeah.
Um, just because like we'd all see each other and it wouldn't be so like distant. But I don't know. I think that's it. Probably just that it's easy to speak on the phone.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle with that because did we do the speech together for the first one with him, or was that
Oh
someone
yeah,
else?
yeah, yeah. I think so.
Yeah,
I was gonna
see,
say like I remember her voice, but I can't remember the
yeah, because
name.
I was in an Airbnb that weekend. It was horrible. There was no Wi-Fi.
That's right. You had no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi got cut off and it was literally horrible. But
Yeah.
I found it's so awkward doing the speech on Zoom. I could do this on the Zoom, but the speech is just it's I don't like doing it.
No, I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't the most comfortable speech
No.
I've ever had either. That was like
Yes, I did this speech, the last speech we did. So the person we were supposed to do it with the professor, he canceled. So it's just me and the professor. I had to restart like 6 different times because I did not prepare for it and it was just a mess. It was a really big mess. And I think also if it was in person, I would have been a mess. But yeah, my biggest takeaway though is it is easy to talk on the Zoom, but just not the speech.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I lucked out with that assignment because um, I forgot to do the like, oh God, I forgot to do the thing they tried to do right before it, which is where you had to like submit your final video, and I forgot to do that. And so he was like, during your time, like you can just do it and then shoot me a message and you can join the Zoom after.
Mhm.
And then he hadn't seen my message until everyone was done, so I actually like just did it with him. I didn't end up doing it with a group of people. And like, I don't know, I love to talk to people and like I love public speaking, but I don't love it over Zoom. I love it in person. Like I want to give a speech in person. It says less than a minute. I'm gonna end it and send you guys another link real quick.
Okay.
Okay, cool.